All right. Hey everybody, welcome to another Explain video. I actually wanted to do this because I saw someone had posted a very nice comment on my last ILS video. So Mensolable, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly, but thank you for your comment, and I'm glad that my video was helpful for you. I wanted to post this because I have another little tip that I think would help you, because you mentioned kind of having a similar experience to me, going through and trying to do the you mentioned kind of having to go through and sort of repeatedly make some attempts and whatnot before you got the ILS. So I'm going to show you something that helped me out once I kind of figured this out. So we are at Austin Bergstrom International Airport. We are taxiing on taxiway Gulf down to runway 17 left. I actually just shot this video once, and this is the second take I'm doing because I want to streamline it a little bit, because I kind of rambled in the other one and just blah 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 while I was flying. But what I'm basically going to do, so Austin Airport has two parallel runways, 17 left, 17 right, and 35 left, 35 right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off from 17 left and land on 35 left. So I'm basically going to go down, do a kind of a 180 and come in on the ILS. But I want to show you a button that once I discovered this button, I had no idea what it meant, what it did. Once I discovered this button, it made my flying ILS so much easier. So now I'm going to try to sort of expeditiously get to the runway and get up in the air. Taxiing kind of quickly.
Approaching runway 17 left.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Entered runway 17 left. 8,900 feet remaining.
Whoops, a little overturn there. Okay. Alright, I'm going to talk a little more about sort of what this button does that I had discovered here once I get up in the air. Alright, beautiful. That's a nice little positive rate of climb. So now let me fire up the... Oops, don't need to climb that fast. Alright, cool. Do that, do that. Okay, now this time I actually want to do a hard left here. I want to go 270. Why are you... Oh, dang it, I'm going the wrong way. Alright, go. I thought I was going off the wrong runway, the runway. Okay, now I want to go nice and fast, because I want to get far away from the airport. All right. So let's talk while we're flying here. So in the other video, in which I talked about sort of how to program the ILS and all that good stuff, I just kind of talked about clicking this APP button and everything is all hunky-dory. Now there is another step to that, which I didn't even realize. So if your plane is already programmed for the ILS on your flight management computer here, you may still pick up the ILS, much like it's showing up over here. So like right now, if I were to hit that APP button, my plane will most likely pick up the ILS and everything will be totally cool. But if you are coming into an airport from far away and you don't have everything programmed in yet, or you get it programmed in and you're not seeing these, there is a button you do need to press on your dashboard over here, or your cockpit panel, whatever it's called. You have to press this VOR LOC button, or VOR localizer button. This will actually tell the plane to scan and look for a localizer signal, and then it'll show up over here on your computer screen, on your flight screen. The plane does not know to look for the localizer right now, so that's why it doesn't actually show it to you until you press the VOR locate. It'll then pick this up, then you press the APP button, and then you do your approach, and then it does your landing and all that good stuff. So what I didn't even realize was that I was just getting lucky by pressing APP and having it pick up the localizer from wherever I was. It kind of shouldn't have worked. So the person who made that comment, you probably had the same experience as me, because I didn't even know what this VOR lock does. But now I know it does VOR, picks up on VOR localizer, and it will pick up on the localizer if it's not showing here already. So what I'm doing right now is I am just sort of trying to fly away from the airport so I can then jump on the localizer to land on 35 left. Now I've got an iPad running ForeFlight, which is what I'm using for flight planning, but it also gives me a sort of geolocation of where my plane is on the actual chart, which is pretty nifty. So I am just using that to sort of fly away from and then turn back towards the airport. I'm going to try to make this a sort of slow, steep turn. Hopefully I can go back towards the localizer fairly easily. So just to give you an idea, I am right about here on the chart, and I'm basically going to do this. Just kind of come back around and find my way back into the localizer. Now I'm already picking it up over here, so by demoing VOR loc, it's not going to do anything different, but just kind of show you the process. So let's say you're following your flight plan and you've looked at your you know you're going to land ILS, well, say 35 left at Austin here. You know that at Lamas you need to be at 5,000 feet, and then you're going to intercept the localizer at Lamas or Camden. You know that when you hit these, you need to be at a certain height and so forth. If you're not already picking up the localizer over here on this screen, that's when you're going to press this VOR loc button. That's when you're going to press that button to pick it up, and then the plane will start to scan for the localizer and allow you to land with it. And so just to give you another idea, I'm coming in right about here, going this way. And then I'm going to sort of fly right into the localizer, hit VOR loc, and then approach, and it should line me right up. When you're flying into to intercept your localizer, by the way, you can't be more than about a 45-degree angle towards your thing. You can't fly like this way and then expect the approach to just do a 90-degree turn and go this way. You have to kind of fly into it this way, and then once you sort of intercept it according to your location on the chart and stuff, you can hit APP, and it should start you on the landing sequence there. All right, let's gotta do some flaps. So there's the runway we're gonna land on right over there, and I'm just about to cross over onto the slope here, onto the localizer path. We'll drop the gears because we can see the field. So we're already picking up on the ILS, so that's good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw that VOR locate button now. So now it says VOR locate, which means the heading selection sort of has that sort of primed up. We've got our localizer showing here because that's looking good. So I'm going to slow down a little bit more, and now that I know that I'm on the ILS, I'm going to hit approach. Now this right here where it says GS, I don't have any sort of official confirmation on this, but I believe this means it's sort of primed to kick in when it's ready. Because that's one thing I wasn't sure about as far as the glide slope goes, because the plane will essentially land itself, which is really slick. And it needs to pick up on whatever the glide slope is for your runway. And if this shows up here, every time I've done it so far, as soon as it gets to the point where it's ready to kick over, it'll turn off altitude hold and automatically start your descent on the glide slope. So as long as you're below the glide slope over here. So I've pressed approach. Once it's fully on the localizer, heading select will turn off, and then we'll sort of be officially on the approach, which actually it just did. So we're good there. Plane should make a turn here in a few seconds, because there's a runway. We need to be sort of going towards it. Alright, let's arm our speed brakes. We got our thing on auto brake on 2, got 3 greens for the gears. Alright. Now this is important because you do need to look at your chart when you're coming in. So we're right at about here. This thing says I have to be at 2,400 feet. I'm at 3,000. But it hasn't kicked over to glide slope yet. So these things always kind of worry me. I never know if I should override it and put in, the altitude that it says on the chart, or just wait and see if the plane does it. I kind of never know what to do with these things, because according to this I should be at 2,400 feet. It still says I'm below the glide slope, so I don't know. We'll just wait and see. Worst case scenario, I'll do a go around and I'll do it again the right way. Unless this is the right way, I don't know. I feel like we're too high, but we'll see what happens. Because I've seen altitude hold shut off and it go on the glide slope and nail the landing, so let's see if that's what happens here. Okay, now we're no longer above the glide slope, and I don't see it switch. Oh, there we go. It just switched over. So now we are on the glide slope. That's looking good. So there you have it. VOR loc is really the magic button here. So as long as you've got VOR locate, you push that so you can see your dots appear over here to signify that you're actually on the proper glide, on the proper ILS. Then you press your approach once you know you've got this all dialed in and this is all being read, and then just wait. And then I think speed also helps too. If you're going too fast, that might have been my problem too, because when I was trying this at first, oh, there's our outer marker. When I was trying to do these landings at first, I was going way too fast. I was landing at 180, 190 knots, and maybe I was just going too fast for the glide slope. So having slowed down my landings to 160, it's been consistent almost every time I've done it. It's worked, and I hope that will be the same for you folks that give this a shot. Let's make sure our lights are on. Yep, those are all on. Let's make sure that nobody's going to the bathroom while we're landing. Let's take a look outside. I love the graphics in this game. It's just so... I don't even want to call it a game. I love the graphics in this simulator. It really does a nice job of simulating everything.
$500.
Alright, we're coming in. Alright, let's put it down nice and gently. And that is ILS with VOR localizer button. So sorry this video is a little longer than I was anticipating, but that's okay. We had some fun, did some flying, and learned more about localizers and ILS. So I am by no means a professional pilot. I'm just a guy who likes flying simulators. But anyway, thank you very much for checking this out, and welcome to all the new subscribers here. I appreciate you guys joining my channel. I know I don't have a channel with any specific topics, but if you guys like my randomness, then I like having you here. So thanks very much again, and I'll see you guys on the next one.